It is March 20th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Welcome to another video with Digital Goats Academy. I'm your host, Antoine Farrar, and welcome to our live trading segment. So first thing that I have displayed on my screen is US 30. So US 30 has definitely been playing to what we wanted to see. I've been taking small positions up here. As you can see, it's making small moves to the upside. And that's something that we want to continue to see. So you can see this morning, it hit that gap, that there was a gap that I had like annotated, but that was, basically the range high. It hit the range high and respected that resistance, right? So currently we've basically hit the top of this consolidation pattern that I drew up yesterday. So it was based off of this, if I draw it back, I just extended it so I could see where the market was. But this was the consolidation pattern. If you break it down, lower than an 8-hour time frame, if you have that custom time frame, you will see that it is consolidation down there. Let's actually scale down to the 4-hour time frame. So consolidation right here, you can see that that was where we had our 10 a.m. candle annotated from. Again, you can't see the information. It's not visible because it's not on a smaller time frame is when I captured it. But we've basically been doing what, we talked about the entire week, consolidating within this zone. We had a fake out down here. And today the market decided to pull back to this area that it broke out of. That makes sense. Again, like when you're looking at the market, like expect like indices, expect like that 100% return. So you can see it came 100% body wise, 100%. And we know that it may try to, wick down there, but it came 100%, close basically at the structure of this bullish candle right here. So this is where we're at currently within the market. If you can see my EMA is actually lining up below it. So that's good signs right now to see if we're going to get another boost or if the market is going to try to come down and collect some of these gaps down here. I'm thinking we're building that stairway to heaven, that move that pushes the market up. So that's what I'm thinking, that, we broke out of this consolidation, we retested it, at least the high of it, or got as close as we wanted to. We still have to wait for 9:30, opening bell to react. But the way it's looking is that this candle should want to push up, and we want to see, more bullish momentum. Now, the only thing is if it wants to push down and then actually try to create support down here. But what I'm thinking is that what we'll do is probably push up high first. And then if the market decided to push down here, it'll do that at a later date. But I think the momentum, if we're just looking at Heikin-Ashi, which I haven't checked that, it's the 4-hour. Not strong momentum to the upside yet, but with these two current 4-hour candles, like you can't, this candle is open and this one was like a doji or basically an indecisive candle. So the momentum has been showing strong movements to the upside. You see the momentum currently for the past, like, what was this, 2 days, like 4 days? Yeah, you can see the past 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in the we're in the 4th day. So the past 3 days, there have been signs of it's not strong. So I will say that the momentum to the upside isn't currently strong right now, but we've been seeing momentum at the very least. So it's not as strong as you see like these momentum candles. But again, like when it's buying and if it's not truly trending, it's going to have appearances like this. But this is, something that we want to see. So the past 3 days, we can at least say that, okay, the momentum has been to the upside. It hasn't been strong, but it's still been to the upside. So we want to see this day close out. Hopefully this day can close out a lot stronger. But, based off the candlesticks, we're seeing exactly what we want to see. Even the same thing with S&P. So S&P kind of did the same thing yesterday as well. So popped up Friday, and now we're in consolidation territory right here. See, so you can even see that S&P on the daily time frame is actually giving us a better, image of that consolidation that we were looking for. So again, it could still bounce around within these zones. I don't think that we'll push down lower. And if we do push down lower, it's to create support. But I do think that we'll probably push up higher before we push down lower. But you can see on the daily time frame, we've been consolidating. So right now, if we just draw a Fibonacci tool to where the market is at currently. Now this is consolidation, but it still moves on a smaller time frame. So you can see that if somebody was trading this, they could have been, buying to the high, sold back to the body, bought again, you know what I'm saying? You can see that it popped up a little bit higher. If that's your style of trading, that's not necessarily my style, but I mean, within these moves, I did catch, these buy opportunities within there, you know what I'm saying? So there were still moves to be made, even though this is a range because it's on the higher time frame, but really just like a bigger form of consolidation. So currently we can see that the market actually, that's stuff that I like to see, rejected. So that was this morning with S&P. The market came down, rejected this area that I said that could be new support. Let me go down to a high, well, let me talk about the Fib first. So rejected it on the 786. So we came down as low as 786, 78.6% of this candle right here. So that was good signs right there that it rejected that. So we're above the 618 right now as far as structure. You see the body of this. It's above the 618 right now currently. So that's good signs. We have 8 hours to this daily candle close. One or two things we want this thing to do is that we want either this candle to turn bullish or we want this candle to kind of remain. I doubt that it will remain that because again, this is a daily candle right now and it's still open and we have 8 hours for it to close. So again, expect some pushes down, you know what I'm saying? Like manipulation, because again, we have a whole 8 hours before this daily candle close. But if this daily candle turns bullish, that's exactly what we wanted to see. You know what I'm saying? That was the thing that we wanted to see like last week with US 30. We wanted the market to turn bullish on Friday, or at least have a bullish engulfing candle and remain that way on Friday for the close to kind of give us our direction. So for this daily candle, this market closes either bullish or it closes where it's at. I hope it's not going to close where it's at because that means it's going to be just consolidating within this area of this high and this current low that it's at. So we want it to turn bullish or we want it to, either close bullish, one or those at. Either or to remain, to the upside. It closes bearish, we may have to reevaluate, our analysis. But again, we still want it to remain like to the upside here. We don't want it to try to push all the way down because if not, obviously it's selling back to this lower structure down here, which that would be a violent move. So just pay attention to that. Yeah, just pay attention to that. Like everything looks smooth so far, especially with that EMA remaining under there. And so I'm wondering if it's trying to reach us. So that's a good sign. Looks like this, what is this called? Not a shooting star, not a shooting star. I forgot what this candle is called, but when you start to see, if this candle starts, turning bullish from here, you start to see this. This was pretty much the sign that the momentum has slowed down on this selling pattern right here. So I don't think that we're pushing down anymore. We're consolidating at this point, waiting for 9 a.m., 9:30 to approach. And again, we're still not out of the neck of the woods until we see, this market like truly like push away from here. But what we wanted to see overall, it's happening. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is where is the market trying to collect? So this is where S&P, I drew that range low. It retested that this morning. So this is where we're at currently. We want to see this market, continue to push up higher. We're gaining more equity on the changes. So you can see that we're down negative 155. I think the most we were down when the market pushed down this morning was like 190, 190 negative $190. So, well, that's US 30, but obviously I use that information in correlation in conjunction with S&P 500. So S&P is down negative $23. I think normally where it remains, like where you can almost say that it's that direction, is either positive 30 or negative 30. So it's floating between like that area of like negative 30. But again, we have a whole new market, I mean a whole new hour candle that's about to open up, not to mention the data that's about to flood in the market at opening bell. So that may change things. We'll see. Everything could be just a trigger to, push down at lower levels for the banks in order to, take people's stop losses and push to the upside. But regardless, once we start getting a little bit more clarity, like here, it comes back up here, breaks that. Yeah, man, we're probably still going to the upside. Our next area would be this gap, or basically anywhere of the range of 5,853 and then 5,810. So that would be like your buying range, if the market comes back up here, if it doesn't decide to like, push down here to create support. But we'll see. So, but so far so good. What we wanted to see is happening. It created support this morning right here. So I'm still waiting to clarify, is this support? If the market pushes up from here, then yes, I do know that that's support. So the fact that it came back to test that area, which was an area that it broke out of yesterday, that makes total sense to me. I think the market is telling its story that, hey, I'm trying to push to the upside. This looks like an inverted head and shoulder, but I don't want to call it because I do feel like I'm terrible at identifying these things. But this right here looks like our left shoulder, our head, and then our right shoulder would be over here. But you traders, let me know, that's viewing on YouTube, what you think. I identified something like that for US 30, but I wasn't sure if US 30 was pushing, like treating it as inverted head and shoulder, but so far so good, right? Where were we at? This wasn't the right one. Yeah, so if you can see that green line, I don't know if it's visible to everybody. It's kind of, well, there, it should be visible over here. I was saying this whole pattern, stood out to me as a possible inverted head and shoulder, but I guess we'll see. Um, from there, if this is an inverted head and shoulder, but I do think that it is. I do think that these gaps, the market is getting ready to leave them. And we won't come back here until we've hit like a certain low that would actually bring us back down to this market. So my projection is that one, we need a little bit more clarity within this zone of the market still pushing up, but I am still bullish on US 30, well, indices across the board. Let's take a peek at the dollar real quick. So the dollar, man, it's just been doing its own thing and it's still remaining in that zone that we talked about. So it actually dropped low last night, which actually looks like one of those stocks that I actually looked at. I think that was Dream Finders Home. I showed in the stock market. So not US 30, the dollar, the DXY, so DXY over here, dollar index, dropped down yesterday and now it's pushing up. Still maintaining that support structure that we had actually charted up already. So, I mean, it could push down back to this EMA right here, this why can I not think exponential moving average, this indicator, that's what I was trying to say. Back to this indicator down here, and then it could, continue to push up. But what we want to see based off of this momentum, we do want to see it continue like rising from here. I don't necessarily want to see like a pullback here. I think we're kind of done doing that manipulation or, you know, struggling to break out, because this move, what was it? I think it was like on a 4 hour. Like, this is a pretty strong candle. Yeah, on a 4 hour. That's a pretty strong candle to say that it's buying. And normally when, you know, indexes do that, that normally triggers them to have strong momentum in that direction. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. It did come back up here, back to this imbalance. So again, these are things that I don't want to see, but I know that the market plays because it's early in the year. I know it plays to these motions. So it could retest 100% of this candle, or this could be the momentum. So we just drew a Fibonacci. Let's look at where that indicator is at in orientation to the Fibonacci tool. And you see this market it's definitely been loving to come back to like, or at least touch, or try to touch 786. So it may not come all the way down to 786 of this candle, possibly, right? So what would that do? Pairs against the dollar, if they were pulling back, you would see them probably pull back pretty aggressive if the dollar was to actually pull back today and come back and retest these levels. Could be, but I think we're going to break out of this zone first and then come back to retest these levels. It's kind of hard to say with the dollar, but I like the momentum that I'm seeing because this is what we were talking about the entire week. Really, what we were talking about, I mean, the start of this year, that, all right, the dollar's still bullish, but what we want to see is like a cool down period, especially like after Trump won the polls. So we saw that, you know, 103 was my first area. Like 103 was our first area that we were looking at for the dollar to turn around to. We projected that it could have been lower, but right now it looks like it's playing to what we want to see. Back at the support structure. So we identified this support structure over here, saw that the dollar came down, and yeah, it's playing to that. So again, once we see it start to break some of these highs and retest and pull and then push up, we'll know our direction. But I do think that we're still in inflation. But of course, you know, on Bloomberg and stuff, they're talking about like stagflation. We're in stagflation, which is like we're kind of in inflation territory, but not enough yet. So just pay attention to that. So again, like pairs like GBP USD, you can see that it created resistance this morning. I do think that we're still bearish. Now, if it breaks this candle, if it was the pull a bull candle and break that, then yeah, to the top we go. But I do think that we finally hit some form of resistance where the market is actually going to be brought down now, finally, especially when you look at the dollar index right now. So I think that, yeah, we're getting ready for some major moves in the market. Just make sure you take advantage of that. You see that? You see how it pulled back all the way up there, but it rejected it. So that's a good sign right there. You want that candle to probably close bearish, if not pull another candle and then like push down from there. But yeah, this is the stuff that I like to see. So I think that we finally hit resistance territory for GBP USD, and we just have to, you know, wait for the market to show its hand, and then we can enter correctly. I see that it's been beating everybody up, but this is what it does earlier in the year. The market normally does this early in the year, so that's why it's important to just go ahead and take your money and then, you know, make decisions after you've already, you know, gained some equity again. But that's it. That's everything that I have for today. I'm actually short on time because my classes have started again. So I'm sorry I couldn't stay on here longer. Obviously, the days that I don't have class, I'll be on here longer. But yeah, I think we have our positions for the market overall for today. You just have to execute once, you know, we pass through opening bell, and once we pass through really, like, you know, opening bell and then 10:30, just for more clarity, right? So that's it. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you found value in this video, if you find value on my channel just in general, please drop a like, please drop a comment on anything that you like or dislike, and always hit that subscription button on your way in and out of viewing this channel. I'm Antoine Farrar, and I will see everyone on another video of Digital Goats Academy.